Hey everyone, so this is part 3 of our historical series. We need to have a name for it. I don't know if I'll have a name before this comes out, because obviously we're going to name it something.
Bolt Action series?
It's not just Bolt Action. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just Bolt Action.
It is just Bolt Action. Yeah. Intro to Bolt Action.
World War II. Do they do World War One as well?
Yeah.
In Bolt Action. So I
don't know. We need to look. We can't even say things anymore without us getting it wrong.
We can say Bolt Action series though, yes?
We'll think of a name. We could just call it World War II. Right, what have we got to look at then? So we've had a look at your tanks and what you've got to start with. We'll look at what tanks I've got, and then after that we need to look at what infantry and command and special units we're going to be getting to add to our armies. So I have been sent from Steve at Rubicon Models, very kindly has sent 5 Armour vehicles for me to use for the Germans. Now I have got 2 transports, the same as you, and I've got 3 tanks, the same as you. So he's been quite fair. And I think somebody on the Facebook group said, "Why?" I think it was Patrick. Was it Patrick? Yeah, it was Patrick saying, "Why have you not given him a Panther?" And Steve was like, "I need to keep it fair," because basically the Panther's like the big tank, and we need to play that in bigger point games. Yeah. So it makes sense that he's been fair about it and not put the Panther in. We're going to start in reverse with these though. We're going to start with the transports. Yep, okay. So there's 2 different ones by the look of it. They both say, yeah, they are the same. SDKFZ 251-1 ALS D. So they both say that. However, this one also says with 2517, 2518 and 2510. So it looks like one of them has a lot of options and the other one doesn't. But obviously this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So if I use this 251 on this kit, I might be able to use one of these on here.
Possible. We did have it with the Shermans. You know, it wasn't the Sherman, it was the M10 that you could use the turret in that kit on a Sherman. Yeah.
So I might be able to do, basically, I can do 2 S511s, or I can do 1 out of any of those 4. Like either one of them could be one of those 4. So we'll start with the one that can't be customized. Now this says it's a highly detailed kit, which we've seen already. The kits are really, really well done. It says it's got an MG34 and an MG42. I can't remember which one Steve said was really good, but I think he said the MG42. Okay, so whatever Steve said, I'm going to put on the tank, because he's knowledgeable on this and I'm not. Detachable canvas top in half open or fully closed condition. So again, the options are there. And it says additional variants available separately, so that's what that is. Yes. On the back, it shows us what it looks like in the camo, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be following, this is the colour scheme I'll be doing.
You're going to go the camo scheme, do you think?
I think I'm going to be doing that because that's mid to late war. I wanted to do the grey, like the proper Panzer, I think it's called Panzer grey or German grey or something. I wanted to do that, but apparently that's early war. So right, okay. I don't think I'll have got to painting these by the time these videos go out. So if you let me know if there's any workaround, if I can do grey Germans rather than doing the camouflage, it makes it easier for me to paint them. Yeah. Because I don't have to worry about masking off and spraying them separately with a rattle cam. But otherwise, it will be this that I'll be doing. Comes with the decal sheet, and it comes with all of the background again, so I can figure out at least what I'm talking about. Yeah. And this will help me decide what I'm going to be doing. So to begin with, there are the instructions, and we've seen already they're highly detailed, so you know what you're doing. Explaining where all the bits go, optional items as well. So it's saying now optional items can be omitted for gaming use, otherwise can punch holes together, otherwise can punch holes to glue parts in place. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool.
That's the different options.
What is that? Is that like rockets or something?
I don't know.
That looks like something out of 40k. It's called a Stucker zu Fuss. Stucker zu Fuss. I'm going to have to get a German accent down to play this properly. That's cool. And then we've got the awesome transfers, or decals. Lots and lots and lots on there for one tank. I don't think I'll use them all, so that's definitely going to be some spares. And license plate usage. Even got decals for the license plate.
That's cool.
And I wonder if there's one that says win. No. Highly detailed, tiny little weapons. Tiny little weapons. Huge tank though. Well, transport. I want one of these for every single one of my men. Not men, squads. Imagine that.
Each guy has his own
Bring me my
transport.
transport. Every single guy. You just have 100 APs, 100 half tracks.
It'd be like that scene from Fury Road, wouldn't it? Where there's just, you got a whole
Fury
line.
Road?
Yeah.
What's Fury
Mad
Road?
Max.
Oh, yeah. We could do a war convoy.
Yeah.
That's easy enough to put together.
That's a big transport as well, by the looks of that.
It's long. This is what I was saying. I like the Jeeps because they've got the Jeep front.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this.
So it's the wheel arches is what you quite like.
I like the wheel arches that go up and over the top, and the fact that it's a straight and then up and it looks like a Jeep. Whereas this is a snout, so I'm not a fan of the snout. However, the back of it looks really cool. The tracks look cool. I mean, the detail, there's nothing wrong. I do actually like the canopy. I think once that canopy's on it...
Is that the option you think you may go with? Is the full canopy or the half?
I think I'll do the full, unless I have some dude off the back of it shooting to make it a little bit more cinematic. And it'll look cool. I want to bring some character to the miniature.
Yeah.
So that's
You've even got the little steering wheel on. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they're tiny and so detailed. I almost broke that just by pressing it. Need to keep them on the sprue so I don't... Okay, that's the first transport then. Second, so this is the second one. This is the one that's got the 3 variants, and I can now see whether any of these will be usable on that piece instead. Automatically, I like the fact that there's a wheel on the front.
It does say 3-in-1 set as well.
Yeah, but I like the fact that there's a wheel on the front.
Yeah.
Because that detracts from the snout and this thing on the back.
So before opening it, are we thinking then that it's going to be the same kit, but you've got some extra options in there?
I think it'll be the same kit, but maybe an extra sprue.
Yeah.
On the back, see, this is the colour scheme I want to do. German grey, I was right. Black grey as well. That, to me, looks awesome.
Well, maybe also we've got to delve into, like, find out a bit more on the history side of it, but you might be able to.
The thing is,
you said this was early war, and we're thinking in mid to late. So maybe it's the crossover period.
What, between early and mid?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much we can get away with on this one.
Maybe we could just say that they were lazy and they didn't repaint their tanks, or they were so far under prepared, like they had to keep going into fights and stuff. They just didn't get a chance to paint their tanks.
I think we're going to have to be careful how much we can make up on the fly with this one. But we'll see. Hopefully, because if I remember rightly, you did paint a tank, one of these tanks a long while ago in this colour scheme.
No, I painted one tank in this, but I've also painted one of these before in the desert green colour scheme as well.
Right, okay, because if I remember right, when you paint, there was a tank that you did paint in this colour scheme, it did come out quite nice as well.
I just sprayed that, I think, with Mechanicus grey. And
I can't remember if you actually did the weathering on it as well or not.
A little bit. I think I used Typhus Corrosion from GW's range.
Oh, okay.
Now I've got the weathering products, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah.
So let's have a look inside the box. Decals. We've got instructions. That is quite funky, actually. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's an ambulance. An assault engineer ambulance with a PAC 36.
No. That's three different variants, I think.
Oh, imagine that. I could have an assault
engineer. Assault engineer ambulance, yeah.
Okay, I don't really want an ambulance. I'm not bothered about healing people. I just want to kill stuff. So
what was the thing? Did we find out what the thing on the side was?
What thing on the side? Oh, the rockets.
What appeared to be rockets?
Stug III Fuss, it's called. I don't know what that is. Oh, but look at the variants you can get. There's one with that's cool, with a big gun on the back of it there.
I'm thinking my favourite look, just a quick look, would be the one with the turret on top.
That's too basic for me to use it. That's an ambulance. You can split the doors on the back as well, so they open. So I can paint the interior.
Oh.
Not that I'm going to. The engineer is quite cool. An assault engineer. That's
right. This one, that's something completely different because all of these have got the 3-in-1, which means that's all in that one box.
Oh.
That one I don't think you've got.
So I can't get the rocket one.
Is it actually? Can I have a closer look?
I'm going to use them as rockets.
They might be rockets, you know, actually. We're looking at
they might not be rockets, they might just be like mines or bombs or something instead. Yeah. I don't know. Let's move that out of the way. Let's get back onto this kit. So we have the same sprue as we saw on the last one.
Yeah.
We have the second
Oh, you knocked a bit off
same
that sprue.
Yes, I have destroyed something already. And then the third bit, which is what we predicted, was going to be a separate one, which is this. So that's got the 3 variants. It doesn't look like there's much on the sprue, really, for the extra 3 variants that are in there. But I suppose that's the assault bit. That's the turret one. I wish I could have 2 of those turrets. That gun's amazing. Yeah. So that's the Pak 36. That's going on the back of it.
Do we know if like with the different variants cost more points in game? Or
They
not?
probably will, but I'd pay it just because it looks cooler. Don't know if it's better. The ambulance is probably going to be good because it will heal people, I imagine.
Yeah.
Whereas that thing just looks like you can
put some holes in some things.
It could probably shoot tanks with that. Going on to my first tank, what have we got? We've got a Stug, a Tiger and a Panzer. Let's start with the Panzer. So this is the Panzer IV. It can be assembled as a Panzer IV F2 or a G or a H variant. So there's 3 different variants there. Comes with 3 guns and 2 mantlet choices with a detachable turret and side armour skirts, which is called Scherzen. It says mid and late war.
Yeah, so we're on track already.
But the colour scheme for this is black grey with a tan yellow. That is, I could do that colour scheme quite easily.
Yep.
So if that's one I could do, I'll follow that. It doesn't have to be that grey. I just didn't want to do the camouflage with the airbrush or a sprout can if I could help it. Again, more background. We'll have a look what's actually in there this time.
It looks like quite a big tank.
I hope it's a big tank. I hope it's massive. I hope you quiver in your boots. Your American boots.
That's a big tank. It's a big tank.
Okay, so like we've seen before, we have decals, but these are different ones. No number plate options, but I'm sure I can take some off the transports. As if a tank needs a number plate.
Yeah.
We'll have to check. They probably
Look at the front of that. That tank.
It's like a mini Bane blade.
It looks like a beast.
Loads of detail. There's nothing I can say that's bad about these kits.
No.
Other than I want more of them.
And then I'd probably like to know a bit more
but that's not.
About them as well.
There's nothing wrong with the tanks.
No.
You know, normally you think, oh, that's not very cool, or there's a problem with the detail, or something's too fragile. Everything's quality on these.
Yeah. See, you've even got all the little spanners.
Yeah.
And everything on there.
Really cool. Like you say, it's a big.
It doesn't look like they've missed detail at all. They're trying to be as accurate as possible with it. Yeah.
They know their history, so they're doing their best to make sure it's right. Look at the size of that turret.
Yeah.
And then that's the extra armour. I think that was called Scherzen.
I've just seen the barrels for the turret. How thick the barrels are. Look at that one.
Yeah. They're going to be quite big tanks then, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to be quite cool though. Imagine like when we do get around to doing the board, if you've got like a hilly area, and then all of a sudden this tank just starts rocking up on the horizon.
I'm going to be driving through hills.
Oh yeah.
I've already said the first thing I'm going to do when it comes to playing the game, because we don't know the rules, do we? But the first thing I'm going to do is drive over all the Americans. Get out of the way. I think I might not even shoot my weapons.
I don't know. You need to look at that. I'm wondering to see if any of the other 2 tanks that you've got, if either of them are bigger than that tank.
Depending on what we get, or what I get, because you've claimed the Americans.
I think if we really get into this, and it's as good as we're thinking it's going to be, we could end up going to quite big scale army. It's going to depend on obviously how long the games take to play and stuff as well.
We need to see how the game plays, but I can definitely see me enjoying this. Looking at the difference between sci-fi stuff and World War II, I'm definitely ready to do this.
Yeah.
I'm definitely ready to start doing historical and doing weathering and learning about it and then playing the big games. And I think there's enough detail and there's enough variation in all of the different tanks and the infantry and what I can do with it that it's going to keep me entertained for a while.
Yeah.
Right, the next one is a Stug or a Stoogie. Stoogie.
They're a stooge.
It's going to be called Stu.
Stu the Stug.
Stewie G. Stewie Griffin.
Yes.
This says you have a choice to build a Stewie as an early, mid or late production, so you can do it as any, but obviously mine will be mid or late. Option to assemble the vehicle as a Stu H. I don't like that. It's not Stewie Griffin. 42 with a 105mm howitzer. That sounds cool.
Yes.
Choice of 2 mantlets and 3 muzzle brakes. Optional periscope. And I know what a periscope is because I use that in Battlefield 1. Do you know what a periscope is?
Is that what they have on submarines? I could be wrong on this.
Yeah, I think
they have
so.
On submarines.
Kind of. It's basically like a...
I don't know how, I'm terrible at
You look into it there and it looks out at the top.
It looks out of the way.
So like snipers use them because that's what I use in Battlefield. I like sit behind a rock and then I put my periscope up and just see what's on the other side without putting my head out. And then when I've looked around and I've seen where they are...
I think I remember having a toy of this as a kid.
I had one as well. And it was rubbish. You didn't do anything with it. You just like...
Just look around corners, yeah.
Great. Cool. Or I can just put my head up. I mean, in wartime, so you don't get your head sniped off, it makes sense. But as a kid, why is that a present? Here you go, son. Great.
Good for hide and seek.
Yes, because they see a little thing over the top. And if they're coming your way, you generally stay where you are. It's hide and seek. It's not hide and evade.
I thought I might have played it a bit different to you.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, we're getting on. It also says optional periscope, rear stowage rack, and spare road wheels. Detachable Scherzen, which we know is armour on the side. And as much as it probably works out better in the game to use the armour, I don't think I'm going to use it because I quite like the tracks being exposed and being able to paint all of this.
Yeah.
Background, decals, same as always from Rubicon models.
Different colour scheme on this one though, they have gone for the camo on this one.
Different colour scheme. I think eventually if we do a lot of this I'll probably just invest in an airbrush and I'll just blast camo schemes on them, so I probably will do this eventually. We have... So we've got some more transfers. I'm loving all these transfers. I love that they come in bags as well, it's just a great idea. We have the instructions, which tells you what it looks like if it's early or late or mid. Which is cool because I can just go mid. I'm going to follow that. This
actually warns you to read it carefully before assembling.
I don't read instructions normally, so it's a good job it said that in red. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of options there. Oh, look at this.
That's cool.
From May 43, side hull skirts were fitted to G models for added armour protection, particularly against Russian anti-tank rifles, but were also useful against hollow charge ammunition. I might magnetise those on, so I can have them on or off.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra armour.
It's flipping cool. What are these things? Smoke dischargers. Smoke discharger was only installed between the period of February and May 43. So if you're playing a very limited campaign, you'd have smoke dischargers on.
Well, they're saying it was installed in that time, so anything after that, there would have been like very few tanks that would have had it that were made in between that time.
True.
But anything from that period, that time on would have been fine.
Early production. For history reasons, the air ventilator on a B10 can be trimmed off before glowing. For history reasons? Is that a joke?
I don't know.
Mid-production, the B10 is installed for most mid-production variants with the machine gun removed. The gun shield can be flipped forward and glued in place. So I can have a machine gun on the top. That's really cool. And what's the back of this thing? It's like a spoiler for a tank. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, but looking at these kits, it definitely gives you the options for you to go for the... I don't know if era is the right word.
Theatre.
The right theatre and time that you were wanting to go for.
Which is what we wanted to get right, because although you and me are going to be playing mid or late, we want to make sure we're playing at the right time, so you and me are going to be fighting with the right...
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a case of that I've rolled up with something that wouldn't have been around, hadn't even been made at that point against the stuff that you had. So
if I decide I want that dark green camouflage or whatever it was, and you go, well, at that time I've got yellow armour or whatever, and you don't want to do it, then we'll have to look at something that we're both happy with, basically. The actual kit, again, highly detailed. The armour's huge. There's so much detail on this.
So these are the armour plates as well, they go on the side.
Magnetising might be a bit of an issue. Oh no, I should be able to just cut off this and stick a magnet on it somewhere. It might not be flush, but that'll be fine. We've got huge tracks and are really big.
Yeah.
They are definitely bigger they're huge. If you want your big tanks, if you want heavy tanks, you do Germans. From what Steve
Can we say that 100% that the Germans had the biggest tanks?
So Steve was saying that the Soviet Union have got really good artillery and they've got really cheap infantry. So that's one of their bonuses. The Americans, in terms of rules, they've got separate rules, but we'll look at that in the next video. I think we'll do rules.
Yeah.
But the Americans have got like the shorter, lighter infantry, the generic sort of army. And I don't know what the British have got.
Okay.
I just like the fact that these are big tanks. The final sprue is all of the wheels. We've got some guns, we've got the turrets. Loads of cool stuff on there. So that is the Stug, or the Stewie G. Now, we've got the final one, which is the Tiger. And this thing looks like an absolute beast. Same as before, it can be assembled as an early, mid or late war Tiger 1. It comes with 3 turret tops and 2 road wheel choices with Feifel air cleaner options.
Okay.
Background decals, camouflage. This is a different camouflage again.
That barrel looks almost as long as the actual tank.
Look at that, beautiful.
Oh my god.
Okay, I just need an army of tigers. This looks like it could transport space marines. Move that to the side. We have
We don't need
decals. Looks like most of the decals are the same. You've got a heavy tank decal and you've got a transport decal.
Yeah.
Instruction wise, this thing looks like an absolute beast. Again, huge thing, quite blocky, rectangular looking design. All the different options again, and explaining to you the initial production, what they got in early and mid production, and what they got in late. So it's even telling you which headlights it used.
Yeah.
You don't get attention to detail.
That's
like
what
that.
this whole bit here is for. It's just to what headlights they would have used and at what point.
Look at all the extra armour that can go around the spawns and the
that
turret.
armour?
That's tracks, spare
yeah.
tracks. So they've like stuck them around there. Look, slight optional spare tracks, slightly bend the tracks into a curve and fit them onto the turret.
It's not bad.
It's really cool. I want to buy, I think I'm going to need a load of infantry just to stick around the tanks and have them basically travelling on the tanks with sandbags piled around the front because there's enough room on.
Oh, are you thinking of having infantry like sat on the tank and stuff like that?
I want infantry sitting on it. I want sandbags on it. I want canopies and things as if they're like properly covering them and sitting in ditches and things behind them, and almost like behind trenches. I want my tanks to be the most standout things that the most diorama-based thing that I can do with them.
It'd be quite cool to do some little dioramas with these as well, even if it's just for getting pictures, rather than they're stuck down.
Yeah, just
but
driving.
You can imagine like the crew and infantry just sat around the tanks. And obviously when they're off duty and they're not actually in the middle of the battle.
If we can get the big trench network from Spellcrow, because they're happy to help us out and support us. And they've got a really good looking trench system, so if they can send us a big enough one for us to go across the back of a board, we could do an entire trench line that goes through for all the infantry. And then there's shooting positions. They've got defensive shooting positions that you can probably fit a tank into if you've got the back end.
One thing we are going to have to look at those eyes, like going back to the vehicles and the infantry, is with the board is to how the battlefield would have been in that time period as well.
Yeah, it's another bit of research.
Yeah.
Make sure that we've got the uniforms correct, the tank camouflage correct.
But you can see that we're definitely looking into making sure this is as correct, like 100% as correct as we can get.
Yeah, it won't be 100, but we'll do our best to make it as correct as possible. Back to the actual sprue, this is the biggest one yet. Patrick said the Panther was big. If it's bigger than this, I want to know how big. It's a
monster tank then if it's bigger.
Because this is a monster already. Really cool. Again, huge tracks. I mean, where's the turret? Because the turret was almost as long as the tracks. I don't see a turret. Please say.
Is a turret in multiple bits because it's that big?
Well, there's a bit of it there. But where's the barrel?
There.
Oh. Yeah, it's almost there. It's a big one. We got a big one. Huge tracks.
Monster tank, that is.
Imagine that running you over. I might have some Americans underneath. What do you think?
You can do that if you want.
I wonder if they captured Americans and drove them around. You know, like stuck them on the back of the truck as like prisoners of war. Because I could have him tied up on the back of the tank with the German with a gun to the back of his head as if he's transporting him.
Yeah, I suppose you
Or
could.
just tied to the back of the tank and driving around with American prisoners of war.
It could have, I suppose it could have happened.
I think I'd have made a good German.
I don't know how likely it is that it did. It did happen.
Sam the German. What is that?
Piping of some sort, I think?
No, that looks like it holds the turret up.
Well, I thought that initially, but then looking at it, I thought it might actually just be some pipes.
There was a tank, and I don't know what it was. And I'm sure it was Germans. It might have been a tank hunter, but there's a tank that's got a huge barrel and then like a stand to hold up the barrel because it's that big. And I definitely need that, whatever it was, because I remember it being just such a cool looking tank itself with a massive barrel on it with a huge anti-tank capabilities. You've got a tank hunter, I need a tank hunter now. I suppose these are all tank hunters anyway. These are anti-everything.
Just looking at it, that's what I would have thought, that just blows everything up.
Destroying everything. That is all of the German tanks and armour that we've been sent from Rubicon models. Thank you again, Steve, for that. It's been absolutely awesome just to look through, and I'm even more excited now just to get home and start building these. Though I am worried I need to get it right, so I might not build them straight away, just so I can make sure I'm done my research before I start ruining them. But I'm definitely excited, and I need to start doing the infantry, getting them built up, and we can start playing some games. And I think this will be the first time I'll actually play stuff without it being painted.
Yeah, just try and test out some games.
Because I'm that excited to actually play the game. You know, normally I'm not as interested. I want to actually start playing this game really quickly.
Do you think we will, as far as games that go on the channel, we will do that after we've built a board, or before? Or
we'll play it before we build a board, so that we know better about how the board would need to be built in terms of playing the game.
Oh, I meant as far as like for any games that would be on the channel for people to watch, is what I was thinking.
I don't know if people want to watch unpainted models. Let us know if you're not interested.
No, I was thinking more of like even when we've got it painted, because obviously we're going to have the armies painted before we will have the board done.
Yeah.
As to whether we would still do games on the channel.
Oh yeah, we'll play it. Yeah. We'll just play it beforehand anyway, and you know, we'll obviously the boards will come. The more we do, the better we get at it. The boards will be built up around that. But initially, we're going to have painted armies on a painted table. It might just be the desert board, or it could be the fields that we've got, the maps from the game map. And we'll just start playing games, and then afterwards, when we've played more and more, we can then look at doing campaigns. We can look at doing a custom board to play it on, and we'll do all that as and when we can. But obviously 40k is the other side of stuff. We need to keep that up as well. But we've got a lot. We've got the city board for that. But that city board won't work for World War II. It's too futuristic.
It would be cool.
It would be cool if we could do a city. All in all, really impressed with the kits from Rubicon. So this is the third video to go along our World War II adventure. Yeah. And already I'm ready for the next one. The next video we're going to look at the books. We're going to go through the stuff that's been sent to us from Osprey Games, and that will be the 3 campaign books and the 2nd edition rulebook for Bolt Action. So we'll have a look through that, and we'll get a little bit of an idea on the books next.
Yep.
So if you enjoyed this, give us a like, comment down below with anything from the video that you picked up, any information you can part onto us, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next installment of World War II.
See ya.
Bye.